in the same week that the Michael Jackson biopic has the world celebrating the king of pop like never before, Drake just quietly surpassed him. As of May 12th, Drake officially became the first artist in history to have 3 separate albums each spend a full decade on the Billboard 200. Not 2, 3. Take Care. Nothing Was the Same. Views. All 3 have now logged over 520 weeks each on the chart. Michael Jackson previously held the record with 2 albums, Thriller and The Essential Michael Jackson. Drake just passed him. And the timing of this record couldn't be more significant, because in 48 hours, on Friday, May 16th, Drake drops Iceman, his 9th studio album, the most important project of his career, and the one that will determine whether the boy from Toronto can reclaim a throne that many people believe Kendrick Lamar already took from him. Let me break down why these numbers matter. Take Care dropped in November 2011. It debuted at number 1 with 631,000 first-week units. It gave us headlines, Marvin's Room, and the motto. That album has now been on the Billboard 200 for 687 weeks. That's over 13 years of continuous chart presence. Nothing Was the Same followed in September 2013 with 658,000 first-week units. Started from the bottom. Hold On, We're Going Home. Worst Behavior. That album just crossed 520 weeks in April 2026. And then Views, the 2016 blockbuster that spent 13 non-consecutive weeks at number 1, powered by One Dance, Hotline Bling, and Controlla. On May 12th, Views climbed back into the top 40 at number 36, officially crossing the 520-week threshold and giving Drake his 3rd decade-long album. Michael Jackson's Thriller has been on the Billboard 200 for over 600 weeks. The Essential Michael Jackson also crossed the decade mark, but Jackson only had 2 albums reach that milestone. Drake now has 3, and the man he just passed isn't some random legacy act. It's the best-selling solo artist of all time. The fact that Drake surpassed him in a week where Michael Jackson's biopic is still dominating theaters and his streaming numbers are at an all-time high makes this even more remarkable. Both artists are peaking simultaneously, one from beyond the grave through a movie, the other from his studio in Toronto through sheer catalog longevity. And Drake knows exactly what this means. He's referenced surpassing Jackson multiple times throughout his career. On First Person Shooter with J. Cole, he rapped, "I'm one away from Michael, beat it," a reference to being tied with Jackson at 13 number 1 songs on the Billboard Hot 100. On Scorpion, he featured Jackson's posthumous vocals on Don't Matter to Me. The respect is there, but so is the competition. Drake has always measured himself against the greatest, and this week, the numbers say he caught one of them. Now here's why this record is more than just a stat. Most artists in the streaming era can't stay on the Billboard 200 for 2 years, let alone 10. Albums cycle in and out of the charts in weeks. Viral moments create hits that disappear within a month. The fact that 3 Drake albums are still charting a full decade after their release, in an era where attention spans are shorter than ever, proves something that the Kendrick beef tried to erase. Drake's music isn't just popular, it's permanent. People aren't streaming Take Care because it's trending, they're streaming it because it's part of their lives. Because Marvin's Room still hits at 2 in the same way it did in 2011. Because Hold On, We're Going Home is still on every wedding playlist. Because One Dance still moves a room. That's not hype, that's legacy. And all of this is the runway for Iceman. Drake's 9th studio album drops this Friday, May 16th. He's hosting a live stream the night before. A new music video filmed in Toronto is expected to drop alongside the album. The rollout has been cinematic, episodic visuals, cryptic teasers, unreleased previews. Drake is treating this like a movie premiere, not just an album drop. And the industry is watching closely, because after the Kendrick beef, after Not Like Us hit 1 billion streams, after 5 Grammys went to his rival, after the lawsuit got thrown out, this is Drake's answer. Not a diss track, not a legal filing, not an Instagram rant, an album. Iceman arrives in 48 hours, and it's landing on a week where Drake just broke a record that belonged to Michael Jackson, where his catalog is still outperforming artists half his age, where 687 weeks of Take Care proves that the music was never the problem, no matter what the narrative says. The question isn't whether Drake can still make great music. He's been proving that for 15 years straight. The question is whether the culture is ready to let him back in. And on Friday, we find out. Subscribe, because the moment Iceman drops, we're breaking it down track by track.